images that the residents of Hutchinson, Kansas, USA will never forget from the morning of January 17, 2001. It was an ordinary day like any other. People woke up, started their day, and busied themselves with routine tasks. Until 10:45 a.m., a massive explosion, as if tearing the town apart, occurred, and the fire department received an emergency call reporting an incident in the city center. They rushed to the scene. Before their eyes was a chaotic scene like from an apocalyptic movie. Fires raged fiercely, bricks and stones flew everywhere. Panicked residents ran to find shelter. Everywhere was shattered window glass fragments. A witness recounted, "The last thing I remember is a huge explosion like thunder. When I looked up, the ceiling was collapsing." This was naturally unimaginable, but something even more terrifying lay ahead, as what they saw was only the beginning of a chain tragedy in this small, peaceful town. So what was happening? What was the cause of that terrifying tragedy? Who would be held responsible for this? And let's join Kanha TV in turning back time to 2001 to learn about the gas explosion incident in Hutchinson, Kansas. And before getting into the main content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Kanha TV channel to follow our exciting exploration stories. Hutchinson, Kansas is a city along the Arkansas River, the largest in Reno County. With a population of just over 40,000, Hutchinson has always prospered, rich in natural resources like salt, wheat, and oil. It is also home to Hutchinson Community College, the Cosmosphere Aerospace Museum, and the Stratica Salt Mine Museum. Salt was discovered in Reno County of Hutchinson by Mr. Benjamin Blanchard on September 26, 1887. This event led to the establishment of numerous salt refining plants west of the Mississippi River. Salt was initially mined using the evaporation method by pumping water into brine wells. In 1923, the Carey Salt Company opened the only salt mine in Hutchinson to produce rock salt. This mine is still in use today and is currently operated by the Hutchinson Salt Company. Both Cargill and Morgan Salt also have evaporation salt plants in Hutchinson. Life in Hutchinson flowed peacefully until the fateful day of January 17, 2001, when a massive explosion occurred in the town center. Suddenly, fire and smoke billowed from behind a decorating store, covering the sky with dark clouds. Firefighters quickly approached the fire. They set up ladders, pulled hoses, and sprayed strong streams of water onto the flames. Initially, they thought it was a fire caused by a broken gas pipeline, so they shut off the local gas supply. But the fire did not stop and continued to burn even more fiercely. Rescue workers began to worry when they discovered that the escaping gas was not from the local pipeline system and they still hadn't found a way to control it. Meanwhile, the fire continued to rage, burning down the adjacent decorating store. Finally, the fire department had to admit defeat, hopeless against this unusual fire. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries, but property damage was extensive. It didn't stop there. As dusk fell, many geysers erupting with natural gas and brine appeared at various locations around Hutchinson. Some geysers reached up to 9 meters high, concentrated east of the town, several kilometers from the initial explosion. 2 of these geysers were also burning fiercely. City officials began to panic at this point. To know what was happening and grew even more anxious as they couldn't. Many experts and contractors were invited to investigate the cause of these geysers. And unexpectedly, the clues led them back to Hutchinson's past. It turned out that in the 1880s, local salt mines were first discovered. When Ben Blanchard, a land speculator who founded South Hutchinson, conducted oil drilling in the area. Salt mining immediately became a major industry in Hutchinson, Salt City. And since then, the salt mining industry in this area began to develop like a storm. Miners typically extracted salt by drilling deep wells, pumping water into the wells to dissolve the salt. Then, they pumped this brine solution back to the surface for refining. This mining method created vast underground caverns. And when mining activities ceased and moved to other areas, many underground salt wells were abandoned. Since then, these empty salt wells have been used to store important national artifacts. Hollywood also uses this place to store its historical artifacts. For example, the original film reels of Star Wars and The Wizard of Oz. But alongside these precious relics, this place was also used to store something much more dangerous. That is billions of cubic meters of natural gas. While the entire city was so confusedly searching for solutions to the explosions and the unusual gas geysers. Then, the disaster started again the next day. This time, the victims were a mobile home park on the east side of town. Odorless gas had leaked into one of those mobile homes. The insulation material inadvertently trapped the gas inside, and when someone started cooking, the gas immediately ignited, causing a horrific explosion that killed an elderly couple. By that evening, the entire city was on alert. People were fearful and confused, with no one knowing when or where the next explosion would occur. They felt as if the very ground was turning against them, and they were utterly helpless against the dangers lurking beneath. In response, rescue teams had to evacuate nearly 200 households and 400 businesses in the affected area. People quickly abandoned their homes, taking only the clothes on their backs. They didn't know when, or even if, they could return. Even escaping was difficult due to sinkholes appearing everywhere. The railway system also had to suspend operations to avoid disturbing the gas system below. Every passing moment was tense, as if the entire town was sitting on a ticking time bomb. At this point, investigators were focusing on an area 7 kilometers northwest of Hutchinson, the Yagi gas field. This field was opened in the 1980s to store propane in deep, steel-lined wells. After facing financial difficulties and being shut down, the wellheads were only partially sealed with concrete to prevent leaks. In the early 1990s, the Kansas Gas and Electric Company, or KG&E, took over this propane storage facility. They reopened the wellheads and converted them to store natural gas. Since then, the system had expanded significantly, capable of holding enough natural gas to supply 50,000 households for an entire year. On January 17, 2001, about 15 minutes after the first explosion in Hutchinson, technicians at the Yagi gas field noticed a sharp drop in pressure in one of the natural gas storage wells. After carefully reviewing the pressure logs, they discovered something alarming. This well had been leaking at a low level for at least the past 3 days. Earlier, on January 14, when filling the well with gas, technicians had also noticed a slight pressure drop, but they attributed it to a normal phenomenon of gas cooling and condensing. Therefore, over the next 2 days, they continued pumping about 80 million cubic meters of gas, equivalent to the capacity of about 12 large gas tankers, into this well system. 1 day after the explosions occurred in the town, KG&E's owner reported this leak to the city authorities. Realizing that the timing of the incident coincided with the explosions and fires in the town, and recognizing the severity of the situation, the company deployed over 100 workers to Hutchinson to locate the gas leak. They checked every house, every street, using handheld and truck-mounted detectors to find the leaking gas, while KG&E was doing its utmost to trace the leak. At Woody's hardware store, workers excavating the collapsed basement accidentally discovered a long-forgotten brine well. Originally, this well was drilled for a spa and a hotel to pump hot brine, mineral oil, which was believed to be very healthy. So, could this brine well be the cause of the explosions and the source of the abnormal gas emissions? To answer this question, the Kansas Geological Survey was called in to assist the investigation. They began taking soil samples, conducting surveys, and measuring gas emissions. Their goal was to determine the source of the gas leak and understand how the gas could travel so far. Ultimately, all clues led them back to the Yagi gas field, which they suspected was the origin of this incident. The Kansas Geological Survey used a very special method in this investigation. They used a seismic vehicle to send sound waves into the ground to map images of the rock layers below. This method helped scientists understand the geological structure of the Yagi gas field area, and from there, discover potential pathways for gas movement from the Yagi field into the town of Hutchinson. Given the complexity of the situation, even NASA was invited to assist the investigative agency. With its capability for aerial thermal imaging, NASA conducted a survey of the entire Hutchinson town area and surrounding regions. The high-resolution images they collected revealed hot spots and gas leakage points that were invisible from the ground. Not stopping there, NASA also used radar from aircraft and satellites to monitor ground movement. Through this, they discovered dangerous sinkholes hidden beneath the surface soil. Additionally, sensors were deployed to detect and locate methane leaks. The investigation results from both the Kansas Geological Survey and NASA were both exploratory and alarming. Gas was moving through underground soil layers, old termite mounds, and drill holes. And it was this complex network of pathways that made stopping the gas leakage nearly impossible. After analyzing the local geological structure and the network of gas pipelines beneath the ground, the safest and most effective solution proposed was to drill vent wells to release the gas in a controlled manner. Therefore, workers urgently drilled a series of wells at key points along the gas leakage path. After that, they flared the gas to the surface to minimize the risk of further explosions from gas accumulating underground over time. Parallel to handling the gas leak, an investigation to find the cause was also conducted. And finally, the cause leading to the gas escape incident was clarified. Previously, when KGAS took over the Yaqui field in 1990, they decided to reopen the wells. To do this, they had to drill through concrete plugs used to seal the wellheads. During this process, a drill bit broke and accidentally struck the inner steel casing, creating a hole in the wall of well S1. As a result, gas escaped, finding its way upward through geological layers and spreading everywhere, seeping into abandoned saltwater wells. And this very thing caused the emergence of gas and saltwater geysers all over the town. And ultimately led to the horrific explosions. The explosion destroyed 2 businesses and damaged 26 others. Simultaneously, it also destroyed a trailer park, resulting in 2 fatalities. Sinkholes and gas leaks formed throughout the city, turning Hutchinson into a pockmarked surface like that of Mars. After the disaster, it took over a month for the gas to fully escape from the drill holes and for the flames to completely extinguish. The total leaked gas amounted to 143 million cubic meters, causing severe pollution to soil and groundwater, affecting the health of residents for many decades to come. Not to mention, the chemicals used to extinguish the fires also contributed to environmental pollution and had serious impacts on public health. The tragic consequences of the disaster forced the city government to reassess safety measures, as well as conduct more frequent checks of water, soil, and air. But for the residents affected by the explosion, their battle is not yet over. The initial explosion completely destroyed 2 business premises and caused damage to 26 others. A series of major lawsuits were filed against KGAS's parent company, One Oak, and its subsidiaries. After many court sessions, the owners of the destroyed stores received $5.25 million in compensation. Subsequently, another $5 million was compensated to residents in a class action lawsuit for environmental debt. The families of the elderly couple who died at the mobile home park also reached a settlement with KGAS for millions of dollars in compensation. This tragedy serves as a warning about the consequences of poor oversight and lack of responsibility. Technicians detecting a pressure drop but not investigating thoroughly, coupled with lax management by the KGAS Department of Health and Environment, were the direct causes of this heartbreaking incident. Moreover, maintenance and monitoring had been neglected here for a long time prior. The Hutchinson Company operated extensive underground storage facilities where natural gas was pumped into caverns created by mining activities. This practice, although common, requires meticulous and careful oversight. But subsequent investigations revealed a series of ignored maintenance issues and non-compliance with regulations. Pipelines that played a crucial role in preventing gas migration were severely damaged. Additionally, a few weeks before the explosion, minor seismic tremors were detected near the storage site. This was also an early warning sign of structural issues in the cave, but no one detected it. The 2001 gas disaster completely transformed the appearance of Hutchinson, Kansas, making residents realize that sometimes the greatest threats come from invisible things. After the tragedy, lawmakers pushed for stricter regulations on underground gas storage facilities. Businesses in the city center were never restored. The mobile home park where the explosion occurred was also permanent. The old gas mine was shut down after all remaining gas was extracted. Notably, in February 2005, authorities announced a 3-year project to remove all remaining natural gas from the mine and fill the caves with brine, which is being implemented to help Hutchinson ensure safety for both the present and the future. As for you, what thoughts has this tragedy left you with? Please share with us in the comment section. Thank you for listening to today's story on Kanha TV channel. We hope to receive your support by leaving a like, share, and subscribe to follow upcoming stories. See you in the next videos.
If the veil stirred, subscribe and meet the next encounter.